Do-rag wisdom, folks. Welcome to Y2k18 .12.31. Feliz Año Nuevo. That means Happy New Year in Spanish, and I'm trying to learn Spanish, especially since we have a racist turd, a traitor in our lives in the White House. 10 things to think about in preparation for the 2018 fight for USA survival. And this reality I live in is we are in a cold civil war for the lifeblood for the ideals of our country. 1. We have a fascist traitor in charge of our government who colluded with the Russians to help him win our electoral college. I've been watching the news, I've been paying attention, folks, and I'm telling you, from what I've seen, from what I've studied, reading the newspapers, this guy is guilty as sin. His party is complacent. We have a traitor in our White House who's going to undermine every aspect of our federal government. Believe me, we have to accept this, and we have to get it in our minds that we have to fight for the survival of the USA. 2. His party, the GOP, represents only the rich, who are bound and determined to see us naked in the snow. These greedy turds have always wanted an end to the social safety net. So this so-called tax cut, it's for them, not for us. I am happy that people are finally learning that a tax cut doesn't mean good things. Because already they're talking about what they have to cut to pay for their tax cut for these greedy, rich turds. 3. The pundits are doing us a disservice when they only emphasize Trump's lack of legislative accomplishments. Yes, he's already accomplished this horrific tax robbery that he's going to do. But this traitorous Bertha Creep has accomplished a great deal in his limited time in our lives. He's accomplished a great deal. Negative things, horrible things. And he intends to damage us even more. He is appointing right-wing judges who will curse the younger generations for at least 40 of their years. 40 of their years. And the only lives that they have, because I personally do not believe in an afterlife. He has a cabinet that is undermining every agency that they head. By the time this creep is finished, we will be eating and drinking and breathing toxic waste. We will see an end to our civil rights and an increase in religious extremist white racism. 4. We do not have to respect the Trump goon. These creeps come, you gotta respect the president, you gotta respect the president. This goon Trump is an accident, a shit stain on the rug. Half of us did not vote, and that is why he is in our lives. If there's any Trump supporters out there, he is not my president. I do not respect him. He's a racist Nazi goon. My father went off to war to fight the Nazis, and I will refuse until the day I breathe my dying breath to accept any fascism and any totalitarianism in my country. 5. We must learn to understand both parts of the Second Amendment. Yes, I'm going to buy myself legally with background checks 2 shotguns to protect my home. But I wish that my state had a well-regulated legal militia I could join. That's part of the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary for a free state. The rights of citizens to bear arms will not be impinged. If you read English, that's what the Second Amendment is all about. Sure, I'm going to take advantage of my Second Amendment rights to protect myself and my family. But too bad we don't have well-regulated militias in the states. Legal, well-regulated militias. No, we don't have those because people just want to have their weapons without having to really pay in service to their country with them. 6, we need a younger, more liberal, corporate-free Democratic Party who must redo what the Trump turd in his party undid. All these things that they're doing to undo President Obama, we must redo. And we need a strong, liberal, young, anti-corporate Democratic Party to do this. We must rid ourselves of gerrymandering, GOP-engendered voter suppression, and Citizens United, or risk the continued eroding of our democratic society. 8, everything that comes out of the mouth of the GOP, written, whatever, are lies. Do not forget what their policies have done to us. Do not forget the Y2k zeros. Do not forget when people were thrown out of their homes. Do not forget the Great Recession, which was brought to us courtesy of the GOP, and they want to bring that back with their trickle-down bullshit. I want nothing from these rich, greedy turds. They can take their trickle down and shove it as far up their fundaments as they can out their mouths. We have nothing but greedy, rich turds in our world, because if we had better rich turds, we'd have a better world. Everything that comes out of the GOP is a lie. Remember that, especially when they start pushing for their tax robbery. The Koch brothers, one of the rich families benefiting, are going to be paying for advertisement over the next months to try to convince us. Well, I am never convinced. I've read 1984 and I know what Orwellian lies are. 9. We need an unbiased and politically free Supreme Court, which respects, number 10, the separation of church and state. We have to change the way we pick Supreme Court justices. We cannot have biased justices who are contaminated by their political views, whether liberal or conservative. We need judges who are not contaminated by these views. Otherwise, we are diluting the 3 branches of our federal government, which the GOP and their fascist leader, Trump, are trying to do. We have a secular country, a separation of church and state. We cannot allow the American Christian or even Orthodox Jewish Taliban to take over the policies of our country. We cannot allow religion, tribal religion, to insinuate itself into the lives of our country. I hope everybody has a productive new year, a peaceful new year. As long as this creep is in our lives, it won't be peaceful, but it can be productive. If all of us learn, pay attention, and understand what we are up against. This is the worst time for our country, the worst threat to our democratic republic since the McCarthy era. The worst. And you, I, and the rest of us have to pull up our pants, tie up our shoes, get ready for the fight in the new year ahead. A big fight that we must win.